All right, ready to dive into a fascinating career path? Today, we're tackling hydrology.
Sounds pretty focused, right? Water. But
Yeah, but when you think about it,
it's anything BUT simple.
it really is. I mean, we depend on water for literally everything.
Exactly. It's the foundation of life on this planet, yet most people don't give it a second thought until there's a problem, like a drought or a flood.
That's when the hydrologists step in, right?
Yeah.
They're like the water detectives, figuring out how to solve these mysteries.
That's a great way to put it. We're always trying to understand how water moves, where it goes, and how we can ensure there's enough to go around for everyone.
So let's break it down. What does a hydrologist actually do on a daily basis? Is it all lab coats and microscopes, or is there more to it than that?
Well, you might be surprised. Yeah, some days you're in the lab analyzing water samples, but other days you're out in the field.
Out in the field. What does that look like?
Picture this. You're knee-deep in a marsh, collecting data on water flow, or you're trekking up a mountain to study snowpack.
Wow, so it's a mix of adventure and analysis. That's way more exciting than I imagine.
It definitely keeps things interesting. One day you might be presenting your research findings at a conference, and the next you're working with engineers to design a new water treatment facility.
Sounds like you need to be pretty versatile, able to crunch numbers and navigate the great outdoors.
You definitely need a strong foundation in science and math, but you also need to be a good communicator, a problem solver, and maybe even a little bit of an adventurer at heart.
Okay, you've convinced me. This sounds like a career with a lot of depth, literally. So let's talk about what it takes to become a hydrologist. What's the educational path look like?
Typically, you'll need at least a bachelor's degree in hydrology or a related field like environmental science, geology, or engineering.
And what if you want to specialize, really dive deep into a specific area of hydrology?
That's where advanced degrees come in. A master's or PhD can open doors to research positions, specialized roles in government agencies, or even teaching positions at universities.
So the more you learn, the more opportunities open up. And it's not just about the textbooks, right? What other skills are essential for success in this field?
Absolutely not. Technology is transforming the field of hydrology, so being tech-savvy is crucial. Think GIS software, remote sensing, data analysis. These are becoming essential tools for modern hydrologists.
So it's not just about studying water. It's about using technology to understand and manage it more effectively. That's fascinating.
And the best part is, these skills are only becoming more in demand as climate change and population growth continue to put pressure on our water resources.
That makes sense. So for those who are passionate about water, about making a real difference in the world, hydrology offers a stable and rewarding career path, right?
Absolutely. And it's a career with a future. The demand for skilled hydrologists is only going to increase in the coming years, making it a smart choice for anyone looking to make a positive impact on the world.
That's great to hear, especially in today's job market, which can feel so uncertain. Okay, so we've established that hydrology is important, it's challenging, and it's a career with a future. But let's be real for a moment. What are some of the downsides?
Well, like any career, it has its challenges.
Sure. Every job has its ups and downs.
It can be demanding long hours, field work, and sometimes challenging conditions, and the pressure of dealing with a resource that is so essential for life.
So it's not for the faint of heart.
You need to be dedicated, resourceful, and resilient. And it can be competitive, especially for those top research or government positions.
Right, because everyone's realizing how crucial water is becoming. But for those who are up for the challenge, who are passionate about making a real difference, it sounds like a deeply rewarding career.
Absolutely. You're constantly learning, problem solving, and contributing to something much larger than yourself.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. So for someone who's thinking, hey, hydrology sounds like my kind of adventure, what are some of the first steps they can take to explore this career path?
Well, a good starting point is to reach out to hydrologists in your area. Maybe professors at a local university or professionals working for government agencies or environmental organizations.
By working.
Exactly. Most hydrologists are passionate about what they do and are happy to share their experiences, offer advice, or even connect you with others in their network.
Mentorship can be so valuable, especially when you're just starting.
It really can. And while you're at it, start exploring internships or volunteer opportunities that align with your interests within hydrology.
So it's about getting your hands dirty,
Yeah.
literally, and gaining some real-world experience.
Exactly. There's no better way to learn than by doing. And who knows, those internships or volunteer positions could even lead to job offers down the line.
That's a fantastic tip.
It's all about building your network, gaining practical experience and demonstrating your passion for the field.
Great advice. So for those who are ready to dive into the fascinating world of water, hydrology offers a challenging, rewarding, and impactful career path.
And as we face increasing water challenges in the 21st century, the world needs passionate and dedicated hydrologists more than ever.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, let's dive back into this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Into the world of hydrology.
So we talked about, kind of the basics of what a hydrologist does, but I imagine there's so many different paths you can take within this field.
Oh, absolutely. Hydrology is like a tree with many branches. You can specialize in groundwater, surface water. You can even focus on modeling or water quality.
Okay, so there really is something for everyone. What are some of those paths that someone might be interested in?
Well, let's start with groundwater. These are the hydrologists who are fascinated by what lies beneath our feet. They're the ones studying aquifers, wells, and how water moves through the subsurface.
Oh, that's interesting. So they're like the detectives of the underground water world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're using their expertise to understand how much water is available, how to protect it from contamination, and how to ensure a sustainable supply for the future.
It's amazing to think about these vast underground reservoirs that we depend on.
It really is. And then, of course, there are the surface water hydrologists. They're the ones who study rivers, lakes, streams, all those water bodies we can see and interact with directly.
So they're out there measuring stream flow, analyzing flood risks, and studying how human activities impact those systems.
Precisely. Their work is crucial for managing water resources, protecting aquatic ecosystems, and ensuring that we have enough water for drinking, irrigation, and recreation.
It sounds like a really dynamic field. And speaking of dynamic, what about those who love data and technology? Is there a place for them in the world of hydrology?
Absolutely. In fact, technology is rapidly changing the field. Hydrologic modelers, for instance, use complex computer programs to simulate water systems and predict how they'll respond to different factors.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting. So they're like the architects of virtual water worlds.
Exactly. They can use these models to test different scenarios, like the impact of climate change on water availability or the effectiveness of different water management strategies.
So they're helping us plan for the future, making sure we're prepared for the challenges ahead.
Precisely. They're playing a critical role in ensuring that we have enough water to meet our needs in a sustainable way.
That's incredible. For one, I'm glad they're out there crunching those numbers and building those models. It's easy to forget how much we rely on those behind-the-scenes experts. So for someone just starting, how do they even begin to navigate all these different paths within hydrology?
Well, it starts with passion. What aspect of water really excites you? What problems are you most drawn to solving?
So it's about finding that intersection between your interests and the needs of the world.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to explore. Take different courses, talk to professionals in the field, volunteer for water-related projects. The more you expose yourself to, the clearer your path will become.
That's great advice. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, climate change. How is it impacting the field of hydrology?
It's the biggest challenge we face, without a doubt. It's altering precipitation patterns, increasing the frequency and intensity of droughts and floods, and putting immense pressure on water resources around the globe.
So the stakes are incredibly high.
They are. Hydrologists are on the front lines of addressing these challenges, studying the impacts, developing adaptation strategies, and working to ensure a water-secure future for everyone.
So it's a field that requires not just technical expertise, but also creativity, resilience, and a deep commitment to solving some of the world's most pressing problems.
Absolutely. But it's also incredibly rewarding, knowing that your work has the potential to make a real difference in the lives of millions, even billions of people.
Okay, so we've established that hydrology is an exciting, dynamic, and incredibly important field. But what's it actually like to be a hydrologist? Paint us a picture of the day-to-day realities.
Well, as you might imagine, field work is a big part of the job. So be prepared to get your hands dirty, literally. You might find yourself wading through rivers, collecting water samples, or trekking through forests to monitor groundwater levels.
So you're saying a love for the outdoors is a must-have.
It definitely helps. And be prepared for long hours, sometimes in remote locations. But for those who enjoy adventure and don't mind a little bit of mud on their boots, it can be incredibly rewarding.
It sounds like you need to be adaptable, resourceful, and maybe have a bit of a sense of humor.
A sense of humor is essential, especially when things don't go according to plan, which, let's be honest, happens quite often in the field.
I bet. Now, beyond the physical demands, What about the mental and emotional challenges of this career?
Well, you need to be comfortable with problem solving and critical thinking. Hydrology is all about analyzing data, identifying patterns, and developing solutions to complex challenges. And sometimes those solutions aren't always obvious.
It sounds like you need a lot of patience and perseverance.
Those are essential qualities for sure. And you need to be a good communicator. You'll be interacting with a wide range of people, other scientists, policymakers, community members, and you need to be able to explain complex information in a clear and concise way.
So it's not just about the science, it's also about effectively communicating that science to a broader audience.
Precisely. And finally, I think it's important to have a genuine passion for water. This isn't just a job, it's a calling. You're working to protect a resource that's essential for life, and that's a huge responsibility.
It's about making a difference in the world one drop at a time. Speaking of which, for those who are inspired to pursue this path, what are some practical steps they can take to get started?
Well, a strong foundation in science and math is crucial. So focus on those subjects in high school and consider pursuing a bachelor's degree in hydrology or a related field.
We talked about internships and volunteer opportunities. Where can aspiring hydrologists find those?
Government agencies like the USGS, the EPA, and NOAA all offer fantastic internship programs. And there are countless nonprofit organizations and private companies involved in water resources that are always looking for passionate individuals.
So there are opportunities out there. It's just a matter of seeking them out.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to network. Reach out to hydrologists in your area, attend conferences, join professional organizations.
So get out there, make connections, and soak up as much knowledge as you can.
Exactly. The more you immerse yourself in the field, the more prepared you'll be for a successful and rewarding career in hydrology.
Great advice. Now let's talk about something that can make or break a job application, the cover letter. Why is it so important, and how can you make yours stand out?
You know, a lot of people underestimate the power of a well-crafted cover letter, but it's your chance to make a strong first impression and really showcase your passion for hydrology.
So it's not just about listing your skills and experience.
Definitely not. It's about telling your story, highlighting your unique qualifications, and explaining why you're a perfect fit for that specific organization and that specific role.
So it's about making a personal connection with the hiring manager, showing them that you're not just sending out generic applications.
Exactly. Take the time to research the organization, understand their mission and values, and tailor your cover letter to demonstrate how your skills and experience align with their needs.
So it's about showing them that you've done your homework and that you're genuinely interested in working for their organization.
Precisely. A well-written cover letter can make all the difference in getting your foot in the door for an interview.
It's your chance to shine. Now let's move on to the interview itself. What advice would you give to someone who's landed an interview for a hydrology position?
Well, first and foremost, preparation is key. Make sure you've done your research on the organization, the specific role, and even the people who will be interviewing you.
So don't go in blind.
Exactly. And practice your answers to common interview questions. Think about your experiences, your skills, and how they align with the requirements of the job.
It's about being able to articulate your value and your passion in a clear and concise way.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. It shows that you're engaged, curious, and genuinely interested in the position and the organization.
So it's a two-way street. You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit. And remember, every interview is a learning experience. Even if you don't get the job, each interview helps you refine your skills and become a more confident and prepared candidate.
That's a great point. It's all part of the journey.
Oh,
Now, let's say you've aced the interview and landed your dream job in hydrology. Congratulations. What's next? How do you keep growing and advancing in your career?
well, continuous learning is essential in any scientific field, but especially in hydrology. The field is constantly evolving, with new technologies, new research, and new challenges emerging all the time.
So how does one stay ahead of the curve in such a dynamic field?
Attend conferences, read industry journals, participate in workshops and training programs, connect with other professionals through online forums and social media.
So it's about being a lifelong learner, always seeking out new knowledge and expanding your skill set.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Volunteer for challenging projects, take on leadership roles, present your research at conferences.
It's about taking initiative and showcasing your skills and your passion.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of networking. Building strong relationships with other professionals in the field can open doors to new opportunities, collaborations, and mentorship.
It's about building a community of support and shared learning.
Exactly. Hydrology is a collaborative field, and we're all in this together. Now let's talk about something that's revolutionizing the way we study and manage water technology.
It's amazing to think about how far we've come from the days of relying solely on rain gauges and streamflow measurements.
It really is. Today, we have an arsenal of high-tech tools at our disposal: remote sensing, GIS, computer modeling, big data analytics that are transforming the field of hydrology in unprecedented ways.
It sounds like we've entered the golden age of hydrology. So we've talked about the science, the technology, the career paths, but how does all of this actually impact, like, the average person?
That's a question we get a lot, and it's a good one. Because, most people don't think about where their water comes from until they turn on the tap and nothing comes out.
Right, it's easy to take it for granted.
It really is. But the reality is that water is connected to everything we do.
Everything. Give me an example.
Okay, think about the food we eat. It takes a tremendous amount of water to grow crops and raise livestock.
Oh yeah, of course. Irrigation, right.
Exactly. And then there's the energy we use to power our homes and businesses, much of which is generated by hydroelectric dams or power plants that require water for cooling.
Wow, I never really thought about it that way.
And those clothes you're wearing. It takes thousands of gallons of water to grow the cotton and manufacture the fabric.
Okay, I get it. Water is literally everywhere, even when we don't see it.
Precisely. And that's why the work of hydrologists is so important. We're not just studying water for the sake of science. We're studying it to ensure a sustainable future for everyone.
So it's about connecting the dots between water and all aspects of human life.
Exactly. And that involves not just doing the science, but also communicating it effectively to the public, to policymakers, to everyone who uses and depends on water.
Because at the end of the day, we're all stakeholders in this.
We are. And the more we understand about water, the better equipped we'll be to manage it wisely and protect it for generations to come.
That's a powerful message to end on. So to wrap up our deep dive into the world of hydrology, I think the biggest takeaway is that water is not just some abstract concept. It's the lifeblood of our planet.
It really is. And understanding how it works, how to manage it sustainably, and how to protect it for the future, that's the challenge and the reward of being a hydrologist.
It's been fascinating learning about this field and how crucial it is to all of us, whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely.
So that's it for today's deep dive. We hope you found it informative, insightful, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
And who knows, maybe we've even inspired a few future hydrologists out there.
You never know. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, every drop counts.